Bungie just announced that in Season 22, more exotic armor tuning is on the way. And with Season 22 being right around the corner, I figured now would be a good time to look at what builds might be good in Season 22. Titans are getting a major overhaul to the weapon surge based exotics. And since Destiny 2 is slightly moving away from the ability spam meta, it's a good time to start looking at these exotics. Icefall Mantle will be giving a Stasis Surge, Doomfang Pauldrons will now give Void Surge, Path of Burning Steps will keep its Solar Surge, and Eternal Warrior will keep its Arc Surge. Not only will these exotics be keeping their original functionality, but they'll have more ways to gain access to this weapon surge. For Stasis, activate your class ability. For Void, get a powered melee kill. For Solar, get a grenade kill. And for Arc, when you exit Fist of Havoc. Whenever you do any of these actions, you immediately gain 4 stacks of matching weapon surge, otherwise known as 25% weapon damage bonus. I would assume this is roughly an 11-second surge based on Path of Burning Steps, giving 11 seconds as of now. We will be testing a few of these builds for this video, but since that weapon surge isn't already here, these builds that I'm showing in the background gameplay are just going to get better. While Path of Burning Steps and Eternal Warrior might be good for building into Arc and Solar based builds, I'm mainly looking at Doomfang Pauldrons and Icefall Mantle for our Season 22 heavy hitters. So today I'm giving you a Void Titan build that mainly focuses on being good at, well, everything.
Everything.
Because of how powerful Void already is, with this change coming, we can now have a build that focuses on powering up our weapons, gaining health and overshield for survivability, not to mention we can easily cycle through our abilities because of Devour, mods, and our exotic. If you found this video helpful and like seeing build videos and other Destiny 2 helpful content, leave a like on the video and consider hitting that subscribe button. With that being said, let's jump right on into it. Looking at our super and abilities. For our super, we're taking Sentinel Shield. It pairs very well with this exotic and the build overall. We get 20% super energy on melee kills, and 10% of our super back when we hit an enemy with our shield throw. We'll also get a second shield throw because of one of our aspects, meaning we can easily generate more super energy while we're in our Sentinel Shield. First up, I'm taking Rally Barricade. It has a faster recharge time, and it gives us faster reload speed. And since this build is about weapons and getting our abilities quicker, that's a win-win in my books. I'm also taking Strafe Lift. Choose whichever jump you like. For the melee, you could do either shield throw or shield bash. Personally, I like shield throw because it gives us a ranged overshield option, and I find it easier to use in most situations. If you are doing harder content like GMs, you don't always want to have to run directly up to an enemy to use shield bash. So stuff like that, I like to generally just take shield throw. For a grenade, I'm taking the Void Wall. Normally I'd say Vortex, but since I recently found out how much damage this grenade actually does, I'm going to be trying it out to see how it feels. For reference, the Void Wall does more than double damage of any other Void grenade, and it does it quicker than any other damage over time grenade. Meaning if you land a Void Wall grenade on the feet of a boss, it takes just 2.5 seconds for you to do the same amount of damage as the next best grenade. It does create a horizontal wall, so be wary of how you're throwing it and the positions that you want to be throwing it in. Moving on to our aspects. In this build, I'm taking Offensive Bulwark. Normally, I like Controlled Demolition for the ability to spread our volatility. However, since we get super energy back on shield throws, I'm taking Offensive Bulwark since it gives us another shield throw in our super. Plus, whenever we have an overshield, our grenade recharges 400% faster, and our powered melee does double damage, which leads me into my next aspect, Bastion. With Bastion, our barricades grant overshield to you and your nearby allies, pairing perfectly with Offensive Bulwark to give ourselves more survivability, more grenades, and stronger shield throws. Let's take a look at what Fragments pair perfectly with this build. First up, as we mentioned, this Void Grenade does a ton more damage than most other Void Grenades in a shorter amount of time, meaning we're going to take Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades give volatile rounds to our Void weapons. So anytime we do get one of those grenade kills with our super strong grenade, we're now feeding our weapons volatile rounds, making our weapons even stronger. I'm also going to take Echo of Remnants, giving a longer duration to our Void Wall grenade. This alone nearly doubles its damage, which is fantastic for boss fights. I'm also taking Echo of Starvation, where whenever you pick up a Void Breach or an Orb, you're granted Devour. Devour is perfect because Devour gives back health and grenade energy on kills. This is a catalyst for staying alive with most Void builds. And finally, I'm taking Echo of Undermining, making our Void grenades weaken targets and making them take an extra 15% damage from all sources. This also means your super powerful long-lasting Void Wall grenade will now be doing an extra 15% damage on top of it being already the most powerful grenade. Now that we have the subclass out of the way, let's talk about ways to improve the build. Our exotic of choice is the Doomfang Pauldrons, and in Season 22, these will be capable of giving us 25% increased weapon damage, which will periodically stack and refresh on Void weapon kills. Plus, we gain an extra 20% super energy on a powered melee kill, and we gain 10% energy back when we hit with our shield throw while we're in our super. Not to mention, we can also get all 4 stacks of weapon surge immediately by killing with our powered melee. So what does this mean for this build? Well, We'll be cycling buffs left and right. We'll use our powered melee to gain 20% super energy and buff our void weapons by 25%. We can then use our super powerful grenade at any time to gain volatile rounds for our void weapons, making them do even more damage. We use our barricade to gain overshield and get back melee energy, plus we gain faster cooldown for our grenade. Not to mention, we can easily create orbs with our weapons from rapid kills or after using our barricade. And remember, orbs will give us super energy, armor charge, and devour. And killing with devour gives us more grenade energy plus more health. Okay, I know that's a lot, but here's a look at what mods I'm going to use for this build. This might change once I get my hands on the new weapon surge, but I think this will be our best option. For our stat mods, the number one mod to look at is going to be resilience. We're trying to get 100 in that, so that it gives us extra damage resistance and a shorter cooldown on our barricade. Our second option is going to be discipline. I'm shooting for 100 discipline since our grenade has a longer cooldown than most other grenades. I want to focus on getting my grenade back basically as quick as possible, since it will feed into some of our other abilities. And finally, we also want to take strength. I'm thinking around 50 strength is our goal, since if we get around 50 strength, we can have the same cooldown rates for our grenade and our melee. Anything past 50 kind of feels like diminishing returns to me. Alright, for our helmet mods, I'm taking Harmonic Siphon, making it so that when we get 2 rapid void kills, we're going to create orbs. Again, this build is focused around using our weapon a lot. We should be able to create a decent amount of orbs with this mod. I'm also going to grab Heavy Ammo Finder and Heavy Ammo Scout, giving us and our team more heavy ammo. You could also either take Ashes to Asset or Hands On if you want more super energy, though you get super energy back very quickly with this build, so I don't really think it's necessary. For our arms, I'm taking Melee Kickstart. This is going to make it so that melee energy is refunded based on the number of armor charge we have. We get roughly 30% at 3 armor charge. I'm also going to take Harmonic Loader. Since this is kind of a balanced build, we do want to also kind of buff our weapons. This is going to give us extra reload speed for our void weapons. And I'm also taking Momentum Transfer. This is going to grant us 20% melee ability energy on grenade damage. So now, just based on the cycle from our melee into our grenade, if we have 3 armor charge and we hit with our grenade, we're getting back a whopping 50% of our melee immediately, reducing its cooldown to roughly 30 seconds. For our chest, I'm taking 3 resistance mods. I usually like to run 2 elements and then a concussive dampener. Usually fit it to whatever activity you're doing. For our legs, I'm taking Charged Up, making it so that an orb gives an extra armor charge. Since I want to throw my shield as much as possible, I'm adding this to give us more armor charge with less orbs. We are using that melee kickstart, and since our cooldown's already going to be super short, I want to make sure I'm basically taking advantage of the most amount of armor charge that I can with every single melee throw. I'm also going to pair this with Orbs of Restoration. This is going to reduce the cooldown of our least charged ability. I usually like Absolution, but since this build kind of rotates a little bit differently than just completely spamming your abilities, I think Orbs of Restoration is our best option so that we can try to have all of our abilities charged up and being able to use at a moment's notice. I'm also going to pair this with Harmonic Scavenger, giving our void weapons slightly more reserves, and we're going to get more ammo whenever we do pick up a brick. This should result in more heavy ammo, which is just going to be nice overall. Moving on to the mark. First up, I'm taking Outreach, making it so that when we use our barricade, we're given melee energy. Devour gives more grenade energy, plus whenever we do have that overshield, it's going to give quicker grenade regeneration, so I want another way to get back our melee even quicker. I'm also going to take Reaper, meaning that whenever we use our barricade, our next weapon kill is going to grant an orb. I'm also going to take Powerful Attraction. This makes it so that whenever we use our barricade, it picks up any nearby orbs. For the seasonal artifact, we'll have to wait and see what artifact mods will be coming with season 22, though I doubt it'll be void focused, so this will only be better in other seasons. Now let's talk weapons. Since they are fixing the bug where double special would drop more heavy ammo, I'm recommending a primary and a special weapon. For our first slot, I'm taking a special weapon. I like to take a weapon that best fits the situation that I'm in. There's a lot of long range targets, Succession is a great option. If they're more close range targets such as Champions, the Heritage, or any other shotgun is going to be good. And if I'm in a raid like scenario where high DPS is needed, Izanagi's and Witherhoard are both great options. Use any sort of heavy hitter in this slot. For our second slot, I'm taking our primary weapon, which is going to be Void with potentially a damage perk. Let's talk about primary weapon perks for a second. Because we're going to be getting an extra 25% damage from our exotic, we want to stack into that with damage based perks. Golden Tricorn is awesome since it can get a base 15% increase after each weapon kill. And while we have that buff, if we get one ability kill, we'll have 10 seconds of a whopping 50% increased damage. Meaning, if we stack all of our buffs and debuffs, we can do upwards of 132% increased weapon damage for 10 seconds. This should be fairly easy to proc since we get our abilities back pretty quick. Other damage perks like Frenzy are also good since they offer more consistency and quicker reload. If we want to use an exotic in the slot, the Graviton Lance is our best option. Though I usually like to save my exotic for my DPS weapon, Graviton Lance offers ad clearing abilities that no other weapon can really keep up with, since it did just get a huge buff this past season. For our legendary options, the best option is going to be the Velis X. max. It comes with a repulsor brace and golden tricorn, which is a nasty combo for this void build, since we'll be getting our grenades back very often, meaning we can easily proc golden tricorn, and because our grenades weaken targets, we can proc repulsor brace for extra overshield. Plus, if you don't have this weapon, you can easily go and buy it from the kiosk, since it was a ritual weapon. Some other great options are, for SMGs, we have Unforgiven with Demo, plus golden tricorn. You could also use Funnel Web with Subsistence and Adrenaline Junkie, or Frenzy. For our auto rifles, there's the age-old Bond with repulsor brace and golden tricorn. Again, that wombo combo. Positive Outlook with Ambitious Assassin and golden tricorn can also be absolutely nasty. These are just a few options, but there's plenty of other great options out there. Just make sure it's a void weapon with a damage perk. And in our last slot, we're taking our heavy hitter, which again is gonna be void. Our power weapon mainly depends on what activity we're doing and which exotic we're using. If we have an exotic slot available, Leviathan's Breath and Twin-Tailed Fox are both great options for DPS. If we don't have an exotic slot available, Taipan and Retrofit Escapade are both great options. No, Retrofit isn't the best overall DPS, but it does give you the ability to do pretty decent boss damage and have amazing ad clearing potential. With this build, you're able to buff your void weapons to incredibly high levels without having to sacrifice mods that'll give you more survivability and ability energy. We can gain overshield at a moment's notice, which will give us quicker grenade recharge and damage for our melee. Our melee will give us overshield, power up our weapons to the max, and give us back a large chunk of our super. Our grenades will do more damage and weaken targets. Not to mention when we pick up an orb, which we can easily create from our weapons, we gain Devour, so any kill will give us health and more grenade energy. This build allows you to have your cake and eat it too.
Dude, you can have your cake and eat it too.
I can't wait for Season 22 to get my hands on this exotic rework and fully try it out and see just how powerful it is. It's wild to think that an exotic like this can go from 0 to hero with one update. This is the build I'll be running for Void Titan in Season 22. Let me know your thoughts of the build and what would you change or how would you improve it. That's it for me. Peace out.